Captain America Civil War. It's directed by Joe and Anthony Russo and stars Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Renner, Chadwick Boseman, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, Tom Holland, Paul Rudd, and Daniel Bruhl. It's only going to get harder from here, people. This is in my top 3 favorite MCU movies of all time. Love Captain America Civil War. It is the first movie in Phase 3 of the MCU and the third movie in the Captain America trilogy. Holy crap, is this movie freaking amazing. I love it. The setup that we got in Age of Ultron is definitely worth it if this is the product. The Russo brothers once again prove that they know how to make good action sequences and really flesh out characters. And this also proves that we should have faith in them in the Avengers movies because they know how to juggle a bunch of characters. There's a bunch of characters in this movie, and they all feel evenly juggled. While some of them don't get as much screen time because this movie isn't really focusing on them. This is a Captain America movie. You can call it Avengers 2.5 if you want, but this is really a Captain America movie, and it proves it throughout this whole movie. You can keep calling it Avengers 2.5, but it's not, and you know it. Like I said, a bunch of characters are in this movie, and they all feel like they got a time to shine. Definitely, they are not the major focus of the movie, but definitely stops it from being an Avengers movie. But they definitely get their moments. We get the introduction of 2 new heroes, Black Panther and SpiderMan. This is our first MCU introduction of both these characters. First mainstream. This is first time Spider-Man got to be out of Sony's hands. Little grimy little fingers. God, I hate Sony. You redeemed yourself with the Spider-Verse. You redeemed yourself. Don't make mistakes again. Morbius better be good. And this might be the best incarnation of Spider-Man ever. I just have to take my time and talk about Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero of all time. I have to talk about him. It's legally binding for me. That's why I did a review of Into the Spider-Verse and not Venom. I was planning on doing a review of Venom. Things fell through. I didn't want to review it. It's fine. But this is why Tom Holland proves that he is the perfect casting for Spider-Man. He's the perfect age. Yeah, that's right. We can cast teenagers to play teenagers. We don't need to cast 30-year-old people. Yeah, he's the perfect age. He definitely combines the jokes and quips of Spider-Man with the nerdy geekiness and poorness of Peter Parker. That's something people seem to always not understand. Look, Raimi got it. But Spider-Man has money problems. He's a kid from Queens who's always trying to find ways to make money. And you get this. He lives in a small apartment. His computer's from the 90s. He's a dumpster diver. His suit is definitely homemade. This is something that a teenager who has the basic abilities of sewing and crocheting and all that. Yeah. And he makes a homemade suit that feels like something a kid like him would make with materials he found. So this is definitely our best use of Spider-Man. Black Panther has probably one of the best arcs in this movie, to be honest. He goes from a revenge-fueled person to also realizing, you know what, revenge, it isn't everything is cracked up to be. The only problem with him having such a great character arc in this movie is that it ultimately kind of fails his character in his movie, which I'll get into when I review Black Panther. But he has a great character arc that definitely works, and I love it. Captain America and Iron Man are going head to head, and you can feel the tension. There is so much emotion put into this movie and all the fights. There's definitely the classic Marvel jokes, but you can feel the emotion. This is more than just the collateral damages of all the Avengers movies. This is more than that. This is about stuff that's happened in the past. This is about friendships and loyalties, and it works so well. When in the end, when we hear the twist about what Bucky did in his past and Iron Man's past, and how Captain America knew about it, it became an emotional roller coaster. We get Baron Zemo, played by Daniel Bruhl, is a really fine villain. He's definitely, I'd say he's not one of the best villains, but he's definitely higher than most people would say he is, because he has a reason to hate the Avengers, and he gives it his all, and he has emotion. His family died in the Sokovia attack. He has a reason to hate the Avengers. He has a reason to why put them together, to make them suffer. He wants to make them suffer. He wants revenge. And that's what helps Black Panther's character. He wants revenge, and this is how he's going to do it. And his plan isn't that complicated. You can see him fail his plans multiple times. This isn't an intricate thing he planned out. You can see him move. You can see him start plan A, something fails. You can see him start plan B, something fails. By the end of the movie, he's on plan C. He doesn't have an intricately thought out. He just has backup plans, and it works so well. This has probably two of the best action scenes in Marvel movie history. We got the airport scene, which everyone knows about. It's great. We got our first introduction to Giant Man. Awesome. Everyone is amazing in that sequence. Awesome. Then we get our final battle of Cap, Iron Man, and Bucky against. Bucky's less in this fight. It's more about the emotion between Cap and Iron Man. And oh my god, we not only get some of the coolest moments, but we get a shot that's straight out of a comic book panel, like it was straight out of the Civil War comic, and it looks amazing. This is definitely this is very different than the Civil War comic, but it works with the liberties. It takes so much liberties that it's pretty much unrecognizable from the Civil War comics, but it works, and I love it, and it's a perfect adaptation, and by not adapting it, that's the right word. By not adapting it correctly. And that's the only way they're ever going to make this movie successful, is if this wasn't Civil War, this was Captain America Civil War. And it works so well. Easily one of the best MCU movies of all time in my top 3. It's number 3 in my top 3 MCU movies. So yeah, that's how much I love this movie. It's long, and there sometimes it feels a little too long, but never enough where I'm bored sitting through the movie. I'm gonna give Captain America Civil War 97 shields out of 100. That's Captain America Civil War. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Is it as awesome as I say it is? Yes, it is as awesome as I say it is. Endgame's coming. Also directed by the Russo brothers, and they directed Infinity War. So, and with all the positive reviews going around, I have very high confidence in that they made the best MCU movie ever. But you know what? I guess I'll find that out when I see it. This is Jordan from Jordan Reviews, signing off.